Hi, I'm Oisín McGann, and this is the opening of Race the Atlantic Wind. They were going to crash into the sea, and there was nothing he could do about it. Lieutenant John Alcock's frozen fingers gripped the wheel, his hands cramping as the aircraft wallowed clumsily through the sky, wrestling with him for control. His eyes flicked constantly between the faint horizon bordering the night sky and the compass situated behind and to the left of the wheel, illuminated by a dim electric light. The muscles of his arms and back ached, and his clothes beneath the heavy leather flying suit were soaked in sweat. The Handley Page O-100 bomber had two engines for a reason. An aircraft this size couldn't fly on just one. He glanced bitterly past his companion at the port engine, the broken remains of its four-bladed propeller spinning uselessly in the wind, no longer under power. Aird, the navigator, sat to Alcock's left in their cramped and exposed cockpit. The two men's only protection from the slipstream was the low Pyrrolin windscreen, and between the noise of the starboard engine and the wind, conversation had to be shouted back and forth. Not that there was much to say. In the gunner's cockpit, right out on the nose in front of them, Wise was huddled behind his twin Lewis machine guns. Even more exposed to the wind, the engineer and gunner was unable to communicate with the two men behind him without standing up and bellowing over the windscreen. They had just passed over the coast just minutes earlier, and Wise was desperately scanning the darkness of the open sea for a glimpse of a British ship. It was their one hope of escaping the enemy who might be hunting this wounded bird even now. The wind hummed through the wires and struts that held the upper and lower wings together, their aircraft rocking and bouncing in the turbulence. The big Handley Page was normally more stable than the smaller Scout aircraft that Alcock also flew for the Navy, but now she was barely going fast enough to stay aloft. Her light wood and metal frame, covered in green painted fabric and plywood, trembled like a weakened, dying beast. Alcock could feel the vibrations through his hands and feet and back. She didn't have much left in her. How many times had this craft flown successfully over the anti-aircraft batteries that protected the Turkish coast as the shells exploded around them? Just recently, Alcock had flown a record 600 miles on one raiding flight. This was the most advanced aircraft of its day, the British Navy's secret weapon. It was the bloody Paralyzer, the first long-range bomber to operate over the Aegean Sea. The Turks and the German Navy had been taken completely by surprise by the first attacks in September 1917. They'd sent their own aircraft to find the bomber's base, but they didn't suspect it was all the way out on the Greek island of Lemnos, far off the coast of Gallipoli. Here was proof that the Royal Naval Air Service was a new and powerful force of war, and now Alcock and his crew were about to fall from the sky because of a busted bloody propeller.